I just talked to a friend about this. Do you or don't you, Joe and Tia, talk about your past relationships at all with your current partner? And then do you talk about your sex life with your before you were with your partner? Joe, you go first. Tell us what the man thinks.
Okay, so I think like you have like the initial conversation of like your past with your past relationships.
When?
I
know yours is unorthodox, but...
Yeah, but I would still say, like, you have it. I would say, like, once you know things are starting to get serious, maybe you get into your past a little bit. To keep bringing up your past relationship, I wouldn't personally do, and I wouldn't really like it if my partner did that. And then as far as talking about your past sex life, like... I don't think you need to lie about anything if something comes up or, you know, you come across somebody that you were with in the past and it just seems obvious or what. But like, I don't know. I don't really want to hear what my partner was doing in the past, and I don't think she needs to know what I was doing.
Big Aries energy. Big Aries energy.
But like, I wouldn't lie. Like, I wouldn't lie about it. And
if she asked, what would you say? Like, hey, so tell me about your ex. Like, what was the craziest, kinkiest thing you guys ever did? Would you be like, whoa, I'm not talking about that? Or would you answer her?
Well, I would probably. I wouldn't be like, no, this is off limits. We cannot talk. I'll talk about anything. I don't really give a shit. But,
okay.
You know, I would probably be like, but in return, like, I don't want to know your story. So,
right.
So this could be a one-sided conversation, but I don't want to hear what the hell, you know, your shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I don't really think it's necessary unless that it was just so impactful and just like a big part of who you are in, you know, your life. I don't know. I feel like some things are best left unsaid.
Okay. Tia, my love, tell me.
Okay, I'm on the same wavelength as Joe in that if I'm asked something, I'll tell. But with Taylor, he's way more inquisitive than I am, so he will ask questions, and I'll be like, listen, are you going to set yourself up for failure by asking me these things? Because you know I'm going to be honest with you. Is this going to, like, bother you later? Because Nashville is actually pretty small. And there's a good chance that, like, anytime you go out, you're going to see, like, an old fling or someone you used to date. And, of course, it brings up questions. I mean, he's not like, what was the, you know, what were the details? What did his freaking pubes look like? I mean, it's nothing like that. But when it has to do with past relationships, I will reference like areas where I went wrong or things that, you know, affected me in relationships. We will discuss that. But I will say that I don't give two shits about past relationships, sexual encounters. I mean, I don't want to hear about that because I know I'll think about it. And I don't want to do things to make me jealous or make me focus on anything other than my relationship. But I am okay with sharing that if Taylor asks me. But I have to let him know, hey, if this is going to bother you by knowing that, then let's just not talk about it.
Okay. Another one here. Another question.
Well, wait, aren't you going to answer this?
Oh. Yeah, I'm an open book. I definitely don't want to hear, like, a man never dated anyone before me, so I don't want to hear about no other bitches.
Correct.
I want to hear nothing else. Nah. You know? No. But I would answer, but also I do see myself, depending on what the question is, like if it's really intrusive, like, was his dick bigger than mine?
Intrusive, that's like a good word. Yeah. Yeah.
I would be like, why are you going there? Don't worry about that. And then they're going to think, well, it was, whatever. But, like, no, it's just that that's nothing that you should worry about because I'm with you now. Why are you worried about that? Now let's dig into why, like, that could lead to some insecurities, whatever, right. Blah, blah, blah. You know, things that just literally don't matter anymore, right? So I can see myself shutting something down in that way. But, yeah, I'm an open book for the most part. But I don't think that you should talk about sex with like this particular article, they were talking about sex specifically, and I don't think that you should bring that up. And maybe, 10 years from now when you guys are married and you run into this girl and you were like, whoa, like she was really wild one night, whatever. That's a different story, but I don't think that it's something that should be talked about. But I want to know what your advice is. Let's say someone had a tumultuous relationship. Like, let's say the last relationship Serena was in, the guy was really crazy, or she had to get a restraining order on him. I don't know. He was stalking her. He was crazy. Same thing with you, Tia and Taylor. Like, would you want them to tell you about this relationship or not?
Yeah.
To kind of warn
Yes.
you, like just in case.
Not warn you, but like clear, like, like basically the conversation that I had with a friend, I told her, do not tell this guy that she's currently dating about this other situation, because it's just not a short story and they just
Right.
met.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, don't go there, because he might be like, oh, you're not over this.
Well,
And
yeah,
she's
especially
totally
not
over
at
it.
first.
Exactly. They've
Yeah.
only been on I think they've been on 3 dates.
Oh,
And
yeah.
they haven't hooked up yet or anything like
Yeah,
that. So
not
I'm like,
time.
girl, do not tell him about this crazy man. Do not do that.
Yeah.
But on the flip side, maybe he would want to know. And that's why I asked that question.
Yeah, that could be a deeper conversation. I mean, if it was a traumatic previous
Yeah.
experience, that could affect how you are in this new relationship. So maybe it would be important to talk about that later on, but definitely not at first.
Not
Yeah.
at first.
Yeah,
And I
because
think
a
that's-
man
yeah.
is going to compare himself to other.
And I think
other
that's
man.
I think that's a different conversation.
Okay.
I don't think that's necessarily the same thing.
Right. Not the sex thing. I was just wondering for like a, bringing up the exes, type
Yeah.
of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, for our listeners, we think that you guys should be open like we are, but also shut it down if it's too much. I mean, we don't want to hurt Bay's feelings. So
Yeah, or
if he
even
asked
ask him.
he asked about dick sizes, just
Right.
abort.
Yeah,
Leave.
abort and then be like, why do you want to know this? There's a deeper meaning. Something else is going on here.